Hi, my name is Hamid. I'm a certified instructor at ASM Educational Center. Our website is asmed.com. If you come back here and click Information Technology, that takes you to this page. We offer Amazon courses and Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure, we have different courses. We have AZ 900, which is fundamental. We have Administrator 104. We have Architecture, AZ 203, and 300. And also, whatever I'm doing right now, I'm going to put in this blog page. When you go on the blog, you're going to see Microsoft Azure. So anything that I'm saving right now, as you see when you go to this blog page right here, this is our blog page. So basically, we're going to put it here. This is all video we have. When you go click here, you're going to see the video, and also you see all the text too. So these are create. Oops, sorry about that. So we have a bunch of video. Anyway, today what I'm going to do, this is what we're going to do. Microsoft Azure image of Windows 2019 server. So what does that mean? I'm going to install virtual machine. I'm going to install Windows 2019 server. I'm going to install IIS from the scratch. Then when it's finished, I'm going to take image of that and boot up a new server exactly. So that's what the goal of the lab is. The goal of this lab is to take image of VM that we have for Windows 2019 server that had IIS. IIS is a web server that then use that image to boot up exact virtual machine, same as IIS and web server. So this lab has three parts: part 1, part 2, and part 3. Part 1, we're going to create a VM, fresh VM from scratch. We're going to install Windows 2019 server. Then we're going to install IIS as web server and create a file index.html, and we're going to put it on this directory, inet pub www index.html. That's part 1. Then after that, I'm going to run something called Sysprep on that machine. You create on that, okay? Then go to image, you create it and take capture of it. Then you create new virtual machine called web server 2, okay? So that's the part list. So let's do that, part 1. So what I'm going to do, first I want to add my virtual machine. I click on subscription, I'll take resource group, which I'm going to show right now. I'm going to pick region, US region. I'm going to pick Windows 2019 server. I'm going to give it the name Virginia Web Server 1. I'm going to give my first name, the last name, password, and I'm going to give these ports as import for. For this, I'm going to put default. For networking, pick VNet 1. Then I'm going to pick this subnet, okay? And no subnet. And no load balancer. So let me show you what we have here. Basically, this is what we are portal right now. When I go to all resources right here, we see we have VNet 1. So I create VNet 1 for you, okay? I just want to show you that's VNet 1 is the whole subnet is 10 is so address 10.0/16. Then inside VNet 1 we have a bunch of subnet. If I click on the left side, public subnet 10.1.0, 10.0.2.0, and this is private subnet, and as you see there's nothing else here. So I've already created that, okay? So we have VNet and we have public subnet .1, private .2, and .3, .1.3/24, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going back to home again. We're going to go back to virtual machine right here, okay? We're going to add, okay? We're going to add the virtual machine right here. Now here's what we're going to do. When it comes up, I'm going to fill up some information. I'm going to pick my subscription, and I have a security group called Regional Web Server. I'm going to pick that one. I'm going to call that Virginia via Web Server 1, okay? Alright, I'm going to put is, no infrastructure image. I'm going to use Windows 2019 Center, okay? Data Center 2000 server, okay? I come down, I'm going to leave it this way. Username, I'm going to give my first name and last name. Then I'm going to give the password. Okay. Now here, inbound port, I'm going to allow both port 389 and also HTTP right now. Why is that? Because this machine is going to act like a server, okay? So I'm going to allow that. Here I'm not going to touch nothing. Disk, I'm going to put as a default, everything as a default right here, nothing touch that. Networking, okay? So what I want to do, I want to pick the VNet 1, which already have that. I'm going to put it in public subnet .1 right here. So that one, okay? And we're going to get new IP address called Virginia Web Server 1, which is good, okay? network security group. Okay, right now look what happened in my notes. Okay, so I said that for networking, for that, okay, for this we put that. Rest of the value we put as default. Okay, management, then review, and so on. Okay, so I'm going to put everything as a basic. I'm not going to touch nothing here. Allow inbound, I'm going to leave this selected port. That this allow you all access that, so we're going to leave it as what it is. Management, I'm not going to touch anything here. Leave it everything as default. Shutdown, backup, all that. Advanced, we're not going to do anything here. Custom data, nothing. Tags, nothing. Then what we're going to do, we're going to review it, make sure you get a check mark. After you get a check mark, which is passed right now, which is good, then what are we going to do? We're going to what? Create. Okay, so right now it's creating what? A virtual machine. As this does that, you're going to have a bunch of stuff on that. You're going to see that. Okay, it's going to have some stuff shows up right here. And I read in my notes right here. See what's going to happen? You're going to have an IP. You have NSG, that's a secure group. This is network secure group. Okay, we're gonna have a disk, and eventually we're gonna have our network interface. You have a network interface right here. Okay, and we're gonna have virtual machine. So let's wait on that. Okay, so see that we got IP, we got network security group, we got Virginia web server. That's called, this is considered what? Interface. And eventually you're going to see what? Virtual machine. Okay, all right, so let's wait that comes up. Okay, let's wait. Now meanwhile this comes up, if I go back to my security group right here, see security group, I create that, I can look at what happened. This is inbound rule. As we see that we have what? HTTP and RDP has been added. Okay, that's very cool. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to associate this security group with my subnet. So eventually every PC I put in my subnet get that security group. So what I'm going to do, I'm going back to home again. I'm going to go back to the VNet right here. I'm going back to VNet right here. I'm going to go to subnet. As you remember that we have a bunch of subnet, there is no security group associated. So the ones that are public and public, I'm going to associate security group. So I'm going to click that, okay. Then here, network security group, I'm going to pick this guy right here. See that? Virginia NCA. I'm going to associate with that, okay. I'm going to save. This is for network.1 is, because that's a public, I need that. So I close that one. So this is for .1. Then also I'm going to do for .2. For .3, I'm sorry, .2 is a private, we don't want to do that. And this one, I'm going to click here. I'm going to go back network security group and associate that security group with that. So what that means, anytime I put any server, any virtual machine on this subnet, automatically they're going to have that kind of security group associated with that. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the virtual, go back to home, go back to all resources, and we're going to see that we have everything. We have VNet, we have IP, we have NSG, we have network interface. This now we have what? Web server 1, which is our machine is, which is right here. Exactly what we have here, web server 1. Okay, right here, virtual machine. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to RDP to my machine. I'm going to install IIS. I'm going to install IIS. Okay. And then I go to this folder and I create a file name called index.html. So let's go back to my again, I'll go back home, I'll go back to virtual machine, and I see my virtual machine. I click on this one right here. Then I'm going to see connect. I can connect via RDP. Okay, I have a public IP addresses. Now again, let's go back, let's look at this virtual machine. When I go back to this virtual, I want to show you something else. I already got a public IP address, and also my private address will be 10.0.1.4. Remember that from previous video I said 10.0.1.0.0.1.2 and .3 are reserved. The first value is going to be .4. Okay, so I just want to make sure you understand that. So I go click connect, RDP, download RDP, which goes right here. I click here. I click connect. Okay. All right, then I'm going to put my username, then my password. So remember me and log in. So right now I'm RDPing to my what? Server. As you see, this is my server. I'm RDPing right now. So as this comes up, what I'm going to do, I'm going to install IIS. IIS means a web server. As soon as this finishing, then when it's IIS, I'm going to go to the folder called c:/inetpub/www root, and I'm going to create a what? A website. So I RDPTs, I'm going to install IIS, and then I go to this location, then I'm going to create basic what? A web page. Okay, we're going to save it index.html. Now look what happened. Since the file extension is hidden, I will go to a search box on Windows and search for file folder option. Then I go to view tab, then uncheck the hidden extension. Then I'll rename a file from this, because you're gonna have an extension. You have to be careful. You have to what? Rename that. So let me go back to my RDP right here. Okay, this is boot up right here. Okay. So as this comes up, I'm going to see the server manager will boots up. So a server manager will show up right here. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to install IIS. Okay, that's the key things to do that. So let's wait that shows up. So right now server manager is coming up right now. Okay. So I'm going to close this window right now. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, there's something called local server. Click on the left side, local server. Okay. There's something here, it's called IE enhanced security configuration. I'm going to turn this off because it's kind of like is anytime you go to IE and you try to go website, it's going to show you a bunch of securities. So we don't want that. It's kind of annoying. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to off and click what? OK. Alright. Now what I'm going to do, I can go manage right here in the top, add rows and future. That's one way of doing that. Okay. Or I can go back to dashboard right here, add rows and future. So I click that, I get this new windows, I go next, that's fine, next. Then I see computer name, that's fine, .0, .1, .4, that's good, next. Now here I'm going to install what? Web server right here. See that? Web server right here. I click check mark. I click add feature. I click next. I click next. I click next. I click next. And install. Okay? Again, what we're doing right now, I'm installing what's called IIS. IIS means I'm going to make my server act like a Windows 2019 a web server. That means I can host a what? A web page. So when this is finished, if I go back to my notes right here, okay, so we want to go to this path, c:/inetpub root, and I'm going to create a new text document. So I'm going to copy this. I'll go back again here to my RDP. Okay, right now it's finishing. Okay. Now look, I said that you can choose, you can close this wizard without interrupting running tasks. View task progress for this window. So I can close that one, and I can see right here is in progress. Okay. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back here. I go at the bottom of file server right here. See if I can go to C drive. Okay, so my computer is coming up. I go to this PC. I go to C drive. Okay, so inetpub is not ready yet because it's not finished yet. So we have to wait. Let's look at this notification. See how far it's gone. Approximately it's finishing. Okay. All right. So let's go see it again. This PC, C drive, inetpub. We have it. I'm going to double click that one. Okay, then I'm going to W root. You have to put it in this location. I'm going to right click this, new text document. Okay, so I'm going to call this index.html. Make sure you give this name. I double click that one. Okay, then I'm going to put the content. So this is tag is HTML. Then I said this is Hamid Virginia Web Server 1 and this is HTML, and I close with the tag. I close that. Okay, I save it. The other things I know you want to do, as I told you, you want to unhide extension. I'm going to go to search box right here. Okay, so that comes up. Let's just wait. Okay, so I'm going to type in folder option, and hopefully we can get that things open up. Okay, see that right here? I'm going to click this. All right, so this is very key important. You click view tab, you click this right here, hide extension for now. We want to make sure we hide. It's not check. Apply. Okay, I go back to here. Now when I go to see shows my index, so what I'm going to do, I have to rename this, so in order to make it work, because you want to be a file called index.html. Press OK, click yes. Okay, now what we're going to do, we want to test it from this site. Then I'm going to test it on my laptop. Okay, so I'm going to open up Internet Explorer right here. As this comes up, I'm going to type the word local host. Oops, sorry about that. Ask me later. So local host. Let's see what happened. You should see your website comes up. So if your website comes up locally, that means everything is good. IS is installed correctly, your index.html is correctly, everything is correctly. Now if it doesn't show up, means something wrong. We have to what? Troubleshoot. Okay, so let's just wait. Here we go. See, my website's coming. Now what I'm going to minimize this. Now I'm going to go back to my own what? Here. Okay, I want to make sure I go back to the virtual machine. I go back to my vServer run. I want to grab this public IP as I copy this. Make sure it's working from my laptop. Paste and go. Okay, now if this shows up, life is good. If it doesn't show up, we have to go check it. What do you have to check here? Remember that you have to go back to networking. You have to check your what? Security. So in the top, if I go home, if I say security group, you gotta go to network security group. Make sure this security group has what? See right here, inbound rule has what? HTTP and the HTTP has to be there. So if it's not there, all you have to do add. You go any and then put the port number TCP and port 80 and so on. Okay, so you have to add what? Port 80, TCP, and any. So make sure it's there. Cool. So life is good now. Okay. So let's go to my notes. Okay. So that's what's step 10. Then I go to my laptop. I copy paste the public IP address, and I should be able to see the content which I set up. Now, if you do not see it, you need to make sure your secure group has inbound allowed in, and also make sure your secure group is associated with silent, which we've done that. Now, part 2, what am I going to do? We're going to do Sysprep. Remember that was a 3-part. Part 1, part 2. That's what we're doing right now. Okay. Part 2 is what? Running system. All I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this, go to Sysprep section. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to my RDP. I'll go back, I minimize this. I'll go back to here, go to run command, and paste that. So this system sys. All it does is open up to your what? See, it shows that where it's located. It's on C drive, Windows, System 32, Sysprep. So what you do, you want to double click this. I double click this. Now here's very important. You want to make sure you tick this. You want to make sure generalize that. Okay, generalize that. I'm going to put a shutdown. That means when this machine gets shut down, when it's booted up, it's going to get new SID. So make sure you generalize that and click that, okay? So that's what's in my notes. Look what happened. It's very important. All right. You will see technicity of that. You pick your first source, which will be with that. Then check generalize it. Then choose to shut down, okay? So when you do above step, it will make it as a new virtual machine with new SID, and also it will shut down the server, so you will lose connectivity via RDP. So when I do this, it's going to create a new SID for new machine. So if I do this, it's going to go to process. Eventually it's going to shut down this PC, and we will have image of this machine, exactly same thing. It's going to have IIS on it, and it's going to have everything on that you desire, okay? So let's just wait. As soon as this finish, I'm going to lose connectivity to RDP because it's shutting down this PC. Okay, let's wait until it gets shut down. Let's see my notes right here. Okay, so you will lose connectivity to RDP. Now you go back to Azure portal, then you see virtual machine has been stopped, status, and click capture. Okay, so let's see if I lose connectivity to that one. It's almost finishing. Eventually I'm going to lose connectivity because you're going to shut down this. So basically what it's doing is generalizing phase of Sysprep plugin. So it's taking image of this, everything, and it's going to remove this SID. So any new machine that comes up is going to new SID. See, I lost what? Connectivity. Okay, very good. So I go back to my Azure portal right now. Okay, I'll go back to home again. Go back to virtual machine. Okay, go back to this guy. Eventually, right now is what? It's shut down. I mean running. Eventually, this can be what? In shutdown what? Mode. So we just have to wait. Refresh it. So this has to be shutdown mode. Okay, right now see, stop. So it is stop. That's what I said my notes, and you will see it stop status. Now you're going to click capture. Now before taking image of these, when I go top and search for image, I'll see no image in here. On image, choose not to share it on that. So let's go, let me show you that. So before I do this capture, I'm going to go back in top. I'll go back to the home again, and I type in image. See, images right here. When I go here, I have nothing here. See, there's no image. Okay, so I'm going back to home again. I'm going to go back to virtual machine right here. I'm going to click my web server 1. This is stop right now. Then I'm going to say what? Capture. I'm going to take image of that. Okay, here's the fun part comes. Okay. So this is already filled up, USEs. I don't want to be in share, so I'm going to no capture that, right? Okay. I'm going to put version of that's fine. No to that one, right? I come down. Automatically delete this virtual machine after image. We cannot do that. We don't need that. We're not going to touch nothing. Name of that, I'm going to call it what? Virginia. Or name of image, I'm sorry. Virginia web server 1 image. Okay, so this is, I just say image of Virginia web server. So that's the name of my images. Okay, tag, I'm going to do that, value, review, and what? Create. So right now what it's going to do is going to start virtual machine. It's done that. It's going to do what? Take image of that, then it's gonna put the result on that image location which I show you that. So right now in the progress. Okay, so let's look at my notes right now. Okay, so before taking image of that, when I go top, I search, I don't see now on image page, not sure, blah, blah, we've done that. Then I say give image of web server 1. Remember, we can delete the original VM since we're not booting up. No tag that. Now what we're gonna do, I want to build my new what? Virtual machine from this image that we have it. Part 3. Remember, part 1 was what? Part 1 was create a virtual machine with Windows 2019 server, which you did. Part 2 we didn't run Sysprep, right? Now part 3, we're going to take image of this, we're going to capture it, and we've done that, and we're going to create a new machine, and we call it what? Web server what? 2. So that's part 3 right now, right here. Okay. So I go to top and search for images. Then I see my image called what? Virginia Web Server image. I will click it. Then I will choose a create new virtual machine, and then we're going to give it what? Name Web Server 2. Okay. Now for the port, I can when I code the port, I can port none. Since later on I can use a security, I call that Virginia security that allows you HTTP and all that. I will do this in networking tab. So when you go to process, you're going to give this, but make sure you give it none. On networking tab, you can pick that. See, on network tab, we're going to see that. So let me show you what I'm talking about. It become more clear. Okay, so this is finished. Okay, I'm going to home. I'm going to type in image right now, right here. See, now I have image of web server 1, which is good. I click this guy. All right. So when I do that in here, I can create what? VM. Okay, I create VM. All right, this is that. I'm going to put it here. Now virtual machine, I'm going to call it VA Web Server 2. Okay, I'm going to keep that name. Now here, image, see, I already picked the image. We don't want to use any of those. We don't want to use Ubuntu like that. We want to use, make sure, Virgin image. We already have that. Okay. Size, we're going to leave it at admin username. We're going to give it username again. I'm going to give my first name, last name. Then password, I'm going to give my password. Okay. Here's the key. We're going to use none. That's the important part is, okay. All traffic anywhere will blah 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 all that. Okay, so let's give it none. And next time I'm going to show you that license type. I'm going to pick Windows 2000 server. Okay, because we want a server. Next disk. I'm going to leave as default. Networking. Here I'm going to pick VNable. I'm going to put the same subnet .1. Okay, I just want to put same subnet. Okay, then it's going to create new virtual new IP address for that one. Okay. Now here network security group, I'm going to say none. The selected subnet .1 is already associated with network security over Virginia Web Server NSG. So we have done that. So we recommend that managing connected to this virtual machine via this exit. So I'm going to put none. So anything comes to this is going to get that security group, and that security group, remember, that has what? HTTP and RDP. Okay, so I'm going to put none here. Okay, I go next, management, nothing here. I'm going to leave everything default. Advanced, I'm going to go to anything here. Custom data, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. Tag, no tag, and review. And then what? Everything pass, create. Okay, so right now it's creating a new virtual machine. Okay, see, it's going to give you what? New IP addresses. That is going to give you what? New what? Interface, right? As I wrote in my notes right here. So I go to all of that. It's going to give a new public IP address. It's going to new interface. It's going to have a disk, and eventually it's going to have what? Virtual machine, web server 2. Okay. Now after that, then our RDP, that when it's finished, then when you see the server manager has IS installed, and also it has this, and also we see computer is called Virginia Web Server 2. Okay, and we can test that the result. Now step 27, later on the lab, I'm going to do another lab where we use this image to create a load balancer, and also we will use it for auto scaling. So later I'm going to do another lab on load balancing. I'm going to use this image as what? A load balancer. That means, or what? Auto scaling. So that means the traffic get balanced between those. So let's go make sure everything okay. See, right now it's creating that, right? So if I go back home again, let's go back to home. All resources, click all resources right here. If you click on type, so it would be nice. See, I have 2 disks. This is server 1, this is server 2. Image, we have that. Network interface. This is for server 1, this is for server 2, is right here. Okay. Security group, we have one security group. Okay. IP, this is for server 1, server 2, virtual machine, and voila, virtual server 1 and 2, and that's VNet. So this is my virtual server machine, is right here. So I click that. Okay. And right now it's still what? See, it's still creating. It's not finished yet. Eventually, when it's finished, if I go to this public IP address, I should get same content, and when I RDP, I should see exact same thing. Exact same thing, except the machine name should be Virginia Web Server 2 name. So let's wait until it get what? Because right now is what? Creating, it's finished yet. Okay, let me copy this, see if this is finished. If I can go there. I should probably not be able to, but let's see that. Oh, alright, Web Server 1 is working. Okay, that's good. So it's almost what? Finishing. So this is working good. Even create that means it's finishing. Okay, let's see if I can connect. So my Web Server is 1, Web Server 2, remember that? I'm what? I'm at the Web Server 2 right now. The contents work. Okay, see, succeed. Alright, we almost finished. Running. Now what I'm going to connect RDP and make sure all is what? Good to go. This, I go back to here, I go back here, connect. I'm going to put my username and password. And then I should be able, good to go. And we can see everything is what? Working good. So this comes up, okay, we should see IS installed. We know that's installed, but I want to double check that. And also we should have what? We should be able to do check computer name and everything else, okay? Okay. Now the other thing is that if I go back to all resources right here, see Web Server 1 right now, here's the key you have to understand, is what? Stop or deallocate, is die. Even if you started, okay, look, failed to start machine, error, because this is not allowed on this, and Visual is general, because it's general. We took a sip of that. So what that means, like when I take image of that machine, that machine is gone. So actually Web Server 1 is no more what? Valid. So what we can do, we can delete that virtual machine because we already have image of that. Okay, so I can only Web Server 1 I can what? Delete it. Okay, so I can delete that if I want to. Okay, this action would permit delete virtual machine 1 associated blah 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 will be gone. Anyway, I'm not going to delete that, but you can delete that too. Okay, so let's go back to here. See, it's right now booting up. This is what? Web Server what? 2 is, okay? So let's finish, and then we would summarize everything. So the summary, let me show you what I did. Basically, the goal of this lab was what? Create the image of Windows 2000. Part 1, I create a virtual machine, Windows 2019 server, and install IIS. Part 2, I run the Sysprep on machine. You create a part 1, make sure you choose shutdown, okay? We did generalize and we shut down. Then you went to the image, you create it, take capture of it, and create a new virtual machine called Virtual Server 2. So the key is, when you do this, first of all, you want to set for this, when you do that, you want to create a secure group associated to the keys. When you do this lab, if I go back to all resources right here, when I go to VNet right here, when I go to the subnets, right here, you want to make sure associate the public subnet with this what? Secure group. Why? Because this secure group has what? Has stuff on it, okay? So you want to make sure you associate with that one too, okay? So now let's go check it out that. Let's see everything's okay. So I'm logging. Now look at this. I have IS right here actually, okay? Which is cool. And if I minimize that, if I go back to my C drive, I've got this PC, C drive, CINET pop, www root, then I see index.html right here. If I right click and open it with, I said that more app, then open WordPad. I said that, see, you can open it with what? Here's the pages, okay? Alright, that concludes everything, okay? So if you have a question and a comment, Again, we offer Azure classes, Fundamental, 104, Architecture, and 300. If you have any question, comment, give us a call back here at 301-984-7400, or send email to info@asm.com, or just fill out one of the form that we have in our homepage. When you go to our homepage, you can fill up some contact form too, also right here at the bottom. You can contact us, anything that you desire. Okay, thanks so much. You have a good day. Bye bye.